Now.
Welcome to TMI Football. Mike's cell phone's already going off. What a surprise. And we have us a guest host today. Tommy Yo couldn't be here. He had the day off, so he's probably on a golf course, probably a par 3 golf course, trying to shoot under 150. So what's up, Yo? There's a shout out. We miss you. Wish you were here. To my right here we have our guest host, Nelson Royster. I'm going to let him go ahead and introduce himself, tell you a little bit about himself.
Well, most people probably don't need an introduction that's if you're on my Facebook, but my name is Nelson Royster, and they call me the Legend, or you also call me Nelly.
2,000 people on his Facebook. It's popular. It's popular. So welcome to TMI Football.
Mike, again, you know how I am. I love the Panthers, but they still haven't quite, I'm still not believing them quite yet.
My name is Isaac, and I still need you, Mr. Palomalu.
So why can't the Redskins beat any winless teams? The Panthers and the Lions were combined 0-5 before ending their streaks against the Redskins. And the opponents' combined record this year that face the Skins, which are Detroit, Carolina, St. Louis, and Tampa Bay, not in that order, is 2-22.
Washington, they're just not a good team this year. Jason Campbell, I mean, I know he's trying his hardest and playing his heart out, but that whole team needs to be revamped. I mean, they brought in Hainsworth to try to help on defense. He's doing a little bit of his job, but he's not that $1 million man that they want.
How do you pay a defensive tackle, which is a position that rarely even gets many sacks? I know that's the main position, stop and run, but how do you pay a defensive tackle $100 million? That's quarterback money. That's not defensive tackle money. And this is my subject. Miami is 2-0 without Chad Pennington. If you watched us last couple of weeks, I can't remember if we made it into the video or not. We said after losing Pennington that Miami was done. And they have just used the Wildcat offense like nothing I've ever seen. At one point last night when I was watching them, they ran the Wildcat offense 4 times in a row. And it worked. They got like 2 first downs off that.
Yeah, I mean, I think Henny, like I said on my Facebook last night, I think they may not be missing Pennington too much. I think Henny may be the quarterback of the future. They need to work on the defense, but they're on the right track with Henny.
Henny has stepped up to much of a surprise to me, especially. I really thought their season was done once Pennington went out. But Henny has stepped in. He's made those crucial plays when they need to have those crucial plays made. But it's more or less about the Wildcat. They have really revamped their Wildcat for this year, and it's totally running over everybody.
And I just want to point this out. Last week, Carolina was 0-3 entering this week. And my boy Mike back here, he decided to throw on his Panther gear. So now after they won their first game, I just want to show everybody what he's wearing. Steve Smith.
And I got my Panthers jersey. He played better.
We got Nelly sporting his. I'm sporting a hat. It's the first time y'all seen me in a hat. I look good, don't I? Sexy.
Yeah,
so anyway.
I think hopefully Beeson set Pepper straight, because I think he got called out.
4 tackles, 2 sacks by Pep. Come on, Pep. We need more like that. That was you earning your money.
Yeah, and I want to keep it up, because we're not paying you $17 million to not make any tackles.
The Bengals sit at 4-1, 1 fluke play away from being unbeaten themselves. And the teams they've beaten is Baltimore and Pittsburgh.
Well, I mean, they're definitely playing better, and they're definitely emotional after the death in that coach's family. But
who could have really called it at the beginning of the season? Okay, you got Carson Palmer, who 4 years ago got hurt in that AFC playoff game and has been down, hasn't been back to form. He's actually come back to form this year. He's actually taking off and running with the ball when there's no plays there for him to make, no throws. And also Cedric Benson coming out of Chicago. They picked up Cedric Benson 2 years ago, I think. And he's been a real big surprise. He's actually the leading rusher in the NFL at this moment, over Adrian Peterson, over Chris Johnson, over LT. I mean, Cedric Benson has really turned it on, and they've got a couple offensive weapons. Ocho Cinco's still there, of course, but you got to give a lot of credit to Marvin Lewis. I mean, Marvin Lewis has really turned that team around this year.
So that's it on the Bengals. For what it's worth, you're in the same division as my Steelers. You beat them again, I'm going to have to come beat y'all. So anyway, I'm going to let Nelly here, the legend, talk about his fantasy team. We usually don't talk about fantasy too much, but he was nice enough to fill in for Tommy Yo. Tommy, get off that golf course. So anyway, tell us about your fantasy league, Nelson.
Well, I got my first win after a 10-game losing streak, which dates back to last year. And sorry, Raymond Hennett, my apologies go out to you, but I did get my first win, and I got 2 touchdowns each from Houshmandzadeh, Portis, Brown, and Fitzgerald. So hopefully we can turn things around. So
sounds like he had a pretty good week from everybody. Our next subject is the weekly pick'em. Now this week the pick'em's going to be a little bit longer because Tommy's out. So with that being said, Tommy's still got his picks, and I'll announce for him. But Nelson's also going to make his picks. They won't count toward the bet because I'm sure Nelson doesn't want to do anything embarrassing just because of 1 week. So I'm going to let Mike start out with his picks, and we're going to start out with the Bears at the Falcons.
I've got the Falcons. I think they're hitting pretty good right now, so I'm going with the Falcons.
I've also got the Falcons, and Tommy's bringing up the Bears. You knew that was coming. He's a Bears fan. Nelly, your pick?
I really don't want to, but luckily I'm going to say the Falcons are not one of my favorite teams in the NFL, but I just think they just got too much for Chicago, and they're at home. Sorry, Joey Bird.
All right, we're also going to pick the Giants at the Saints. Tommy's pick is the Giants. I'm going to stick with the same thing as Tommy has.
I also got the Giants. The Saints are a good team, but the Saints defense really isn't there all the way. I don't think, not to hold the Giants back until something shows me different. I'm still going for the Giants.
Well, I'm gonna also go with the Giants. Like I say, I think the Giants may just be their match. I mean, so for right now, but the Saints are going to do real well, but I just think the Giants got a little too much for them. Even though it is in the Superdome, but they just hadn't really been tested yet. So,
all right, our last picking game that is official is the Ravens and the Ravens at the Vikings. Pretty much it's going to be all the way across the board because me and Tommy both we have the Vikings. Brett Favre, I just believe you're going to continue your magical season, and I want you to continue it. So that's why I'm picking you.
I also got the Vikings. Until proven otherwise, Brett.
He still believes in you, Brett.
Until proven otherwise, Brett Favre, you are actually
the man.
Doing better than I thought you would.
The man.
Yeah, well, I think Brett Favre's going to have a good game, but I'm going to go with the Ravens just to be different, and the fact that Flacco is going to be my starter again on fantasy, and I expect to see a better game from him than less than 200 yards and two interceptions and 1 touchdown pass.
Tommy sits at 5-1, Mike sits at 2-4, and I sit at 3-3. I'm gonna let him go first since it's his game.
Well, I'm gonna go with San Diego. Denver's gonna be there at the end of the year, but I just think they're due for a letdown. San Diego.
I got San Diego also. It's just time for San Diego to come back to earth. They're a little too high. Their record is better than they are, and that's just what I think. Tommy Yo, he also picked San Diego probably for about the same reasons I have.
And I'm still sticking with Denver. I still believe in Josh McDaniels. I think he's really done a lot with that team this year. And Kyle Orton's actually looking like a decent quarterback. I just don't understand what it is about these guys that come out of Chicago. Once they leave Chicago, they usually turn it on and they actually turn into somebody. So Kyle Orton's he's actually playing. So
Chicago, land of the quarterback and the wide receiver killers. All right, upset specials of the week. The legend, I'm going to let him go first.
I got Seattle over Arizona. It's borderline upset, but Seattle's been a little bit down this year. So,
Mike?
Kansas City over Washington. I think, Washington's whole thing this year so far, so they're giving all the winless teams their first win, so I'm going with Kansas City over Washington.
All right, my pick'em or upset special of the week. By the way, I have to mention it. 3-0. I have yet to missed this pick. I'm picking Houston over Cincy. It's time for them to come back down to earth also. Tommy's going to have what I consider a tough time with his pick. He's picking Detroit over Green Bay. Good luck with that, yo.
Yeah, good luck.
Anyway, that will do it for TMI Football this week. I want to say thank you to Nelson again for stepping in for Tommy Yo. And give it a shout out. Yo, be here next week. See ya, sucker.
Mike.